President William Ruto's allies are calling for the arrest of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Now, yesterday, the leader of minority in the National Assembly, Junet Mohammed, moved a motion of adjournment to allow MPs to discuss Rigathi Gachagua's violence remarks. Now, William Samoei Arap Ruto's defender in the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Paul Sholei, called for the arrest of the former deputy president, and this is what she had to say.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I think as I listen to the discussions from my colleagues, we are discussing as if it's just bare facts. What we are discussing is crimes that have been committed by the former deputy president. His crime are offenses that are set out in the National Cohesion and Integration Commission Act. And we even have past history where people have made utterances that were assumed to have been wrong and they were not even guilty, yet they were arrested. So my issue here is, I'm also calling upon the chairperson of NCIC, Reverend Kobia. Reverend Kobia must act and not allow people to get over it. Because if we remember, prior to the 2022 elections, I remember 300 police officers were sent to Uasin County to arrest Honorable Oscar Sudi for making remarks that were not even hitting to the threshold of the National Commission and Integration Act. It was the same Reverend Kobia. We expect him to act. Similarly, we remember that Honorable Linturi again made some remarks, and he was picked at night. Yes, he mentioned that word in Uasin, and he was picked swiftly by the police and ferried to Nairobi at night for arrest. The same thing happened to Oscar Sudi. Why is it that the former deputy president has not been arrested? In fact, this House must hold the National Cohesion and Integration Commission to account, because they cannot have double standards when it comes to deal with people. You need to read the National Cohesion and Integration Act. And therefore, that is what we must say. And we, again, speaking as Member of Parliament for Uasin County, which bore the brunt of the post-election violence, we cannot allow anyone to mention that again. We made peace. The pastors and the old men had a meeting in Korusoi. That matter was settled, and we promised ourselves that we shall never mention it again. So on behalf of the people of Uasin County, we are very offended by the remarks of the former deputy president. Because, in fact, statements have been issued by members of Uasin County where they said, we are not going to allow you to take us there. So such a person is not a leader, he's a criminal, and we should be discussing how we should have him arrested and charged for those crimes, contrary to the NCIC Act.
In case this is your first time on the Sport Check YouTube channel, kindly support us by subscribing and turning on the notification bell. Now, why William Samoei Arap Ruto fears arresting Rigathi Gachagua is due to the following reasons. One, if you arrest Rigathi Gachagua, be rest assured it will attract both national and international attention. I will give you a good example with what is taking place in our neighboring countries. When Kizza Besigye was arrested by Ugandan authorities, it attracted both national and international attention. That is why you could see Martha Karua and other legal practitioners across East Africa coming on board to defend him. We also saw what happened to Tanzanian opposition leader Tundu Lissu. When he was arrested, it attracted both national and international attention. That is why the former CJ, David Kanani Maraga, and Willy Mutunga, Martha Karua, went to Tanzania despite the fact they were deported. So Rigathi Gachagua's name will be discussed both nationally and internationally, even media. It will cover that the former deputy president of the Republic of Kenya has been arrested by Kenyan authorities. In Kenya, people will talk about I love using an example of a village in Homa Bay County, Kanyadiang, maybe other villages in Turkana. Those people will know that Rigathi Gachagua is existing. And members of parliament, they have been saying that Rigathi Gachagua has got no any capacity to attract following in Kenya. Some people might even say that they want to associate themselves with Rigathi Gachagua. The second thing that it will create is political sympathy or political relevance, and I've talked about it in the first reason. People will talk about Rigathi Gachagua and it will remain politically relevant in every discussion, be it in media. People will be discussing what will take place if Rigathi Gachagua is arrested, blah blah. The third thing that you must understand, Rigathi Gachagua recently launched his political party, that is DCP party. Now, if you arrest him today, be rest assured that other Kenyans will have a doubt in the intention that the government is having behind arresting Rigathi Gachagua. His party will become popular. In fact, many people will join that political party because Rigathi Gachagua is being accused of making statements that might trigger violence in 2027 in an event William Samoei Arap Ruto wins an election in a manner that will not depict transparent and fair election in 2027. So that is what Rigathi Gachagua was trying to talk about. However, I do not support any leader who is coming out to make inflammatory remarks that can bring violence in the country. But I doubt if William Samoei Arap Ruto, the head of state, can dare to arrest Rigathi Gachagua. That is the reality on the ground. They are not going to arrest Rigathi Gachagua. And also, politicians also must be cautious. They must be cautious everywhere they are. Whatever they are talking about, they must have a responsibility of being accountable to whatever they say. Anyway, guys, that is just my opinion right here on the Sport Check YouTube channel. Kindly support us by subscribing and turning on the notification bell. Now, I promised at the end of my videos to carry out civic education. Once the IEBC is properly constituted, what you need to do is to register as a voter. The beauty of doing that, you can participate in two types of elections. One, by elections. Two, general elections. The only way you can make William Ruto a one-term president, as per the call of Rigathi Gachagua, is by becoming a registered voter. Two, you need to demonetize politics. The beauty of doing that, you can get an opportunity of electing a leader of high integrity. Allow me to explain. Our leaders can mismanage public funds, and I want to give you a good example. One, the NGCDF fund. Despite the fact they are saying it is being managed by NGCDF board, which is independent, they have an influence. That is why you can see other members of parliament giving out those checks by themselves. It is because they have an influence. Two, these people can even mismanage the Gulf. I'm talking about the fund that is being given to women representatives. So they have an influence. If you elect someone because they paid you 500 or 200 shillings, they will find a way of getting back their money. Lastly, vote for someone with a vision. This is where we have a problem. We elect leaders without thinking of their vision. Some people have got very positive vision, but we don't elect them. You wonder why they come up with the negative policies that will not even take this country to the next level. It is because we elect leaders without taking into consideration of their vision. Bye for now. I will see you in the next video.